We have now the beautiful pork kebabs that we're using like a North African kind of spice blend with, and serving with another sort of North African thing, a pistachio dip.
Okay.
So that's what we're doing here at the moment.
Okay, excellent work. Let us onward.
Very good. So what I started off by doing is you can either use like a mixing bowl, a Robo-Coop or something to make this paste up. But what I've just done is just keep a bit of texture. We've got just hand crushed the pistachio nuts in a little cloth like that, so it's going to have a good bit of texture to it. And I've just roughly chopped the herbs. Now in here, I've got about 3 times the amount of coriander to mint.
Okay.
And into that, then we need to squeeze in some lemon juice.
Very nice.
And now also, there's another little secret ingredient in here as well,
so
which is the rose water. Now, rose water is going to add... Sorry.
We still haven't, I suppose, got into cooking with rose water here, but in the East, rose water is used all the time.
It's a really big thing. I mean, particularly in Indian cooking, and also we're using it for floral fragrance, but also has a natural astringency. And that astringency kind of just cuts through any sort of richness, you know.
Very good.
So that's what we're finding that we're using that with.
Aaron, just to talk about pistachios, I always love pistachio ice cream. I know it's a totally different thing.
No, but pistachio has a really sort of, I think it's the really sexy nut. It has a gorgeous colour to it, a lovely sort of sweetness as well.
And these little dips now that you're going to make, these are great to serve during the game, wouldn't they?
Absolutely, brilliant. And they're so simple to do as well. So what we need to do is just to add a little olive oil to this, and then just to stir it around, and then we can serve that up as a dip with the touch of the rose water in there as well.
And you've named this a Paul O'Connell pistachio dip.
Paul O'Connell pistachio dip, exactly. Right,
I think you can make money out of this, Aaron.
Well,
you can get another award like we talked about earlier on.
Well, we've also entered into another award as well. I mentioned the Irish Food Awards this weekend down in Dingle as well.
Great.
So that'd be brilliant if that one manages to come together. Now, for the pork, what we have is our different meat board here. This is a fillet of pork. So what we want to do with a fillet of pork, you don't want to overcook it because it can tend to go a little bit dry.
Could you get that pork now cut up like that?
You can, of course. You know, it's not that difficult to do it yourself.
No, it's very soft.
Yeah, exactly. It's a really tender sort of cut. So I'd love to be able to mix this around, which would be great, which would be wonderful. Perfect.
Let's get a spoon
lovely.
there.
Excellent, here we go. So what we're going to do, so in the spices in here, I'm using, well, you can either use cubeb pepper or black pepper is what we've used here, a little cumin and also rose petals, which is the colour. Now, again, if you can't find rose petals, it really doesn't matter. You do not need to be necessarily using the rose petals.
Cumin's a lovely spice, isn't it?
Beautiful, such earthy sort of lemony sort of notes to it as well. So to bring out those earthy lemony notes, what I've also done is popped in a little ginger. Now the ginger in there as well, and again a little sort of the citrus zest of the lemon.
You named these Tommy Bow burger kebabs.
Indeed, absolutely. We're really trying to play on the rugby team bit here today. That's the thing, isn't it?
Very good.
Right, okay. Just wash my hands because it's pork. It's raw meat. Now what I've got is a metal skewer. Now if you've got the wooden skewers, it's best to sort of soak those overnight because if you don't soak them overnight, you have the sort of fear you might catch.
So you'd leave those in these for how long?
Ideally, if you can leave it on the marinade, I'd say you need to be looking at least sort of 6 hours or so, just to really try and get that flavour in. But again, if it's an afternoon and you manage to get up in the morning, you've made your lovely breakfast, pop that in and pop it into the fridge. And so when it comes to cooking it, it'll be ready to do.
Okay.
Now, when you're skewering the meat, just go up onto one like that and then back down again. And that just helps the meat just to sort of stick there a little bit more firmly than otherwise. So just up and down and up and down. I think we're getting the picture here. So that's
when you marinate meat, Aaron, do you think should it always be covered and should it always be in the fridge?
Well, absolutely. With meat, yeah, in a domestic situation, it all depends. Now, meat should really be cooked from room temperature, but I would never sort of recommend that because it's always best just for domestic purposes to make sure you're really careful with it, and just to keep it in the fridge. So if you're marinating, pop it in the fridge and just put a damp tea towel over it just to sort of keep the flavour there.
Very good. Oh, just a damp tea towel.
A damp tea towel is all you need, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
So there we have.
So there we have this. Now then, the next thing is just to give our dip here. We would love some more oil.
My gosh.
Dip here. Okay. Now I've popped a little one of the pork kebabs in earlier, so we can bring it out the oven, and then we can see how it tastes.
Treat of the century. Very good.
Hold on to this plate here, maybe.
You know, I've heard of so many people doing the breakfast for the matches in the morning. I didn't think anybody would, but they are getting it together.
It's kind of different, isn't it? As opposed to going out to a pub or drinking loads of beer and watching the match. It's
because it's
nice
so early, isn't it? Because the other side of the world.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And New Zealand's a beautiful country as well. Have you been to New Zealand?
I was in New Zealand a couple of years ago, and we were all over the place. And I know that listening the other day, a couple of days ago, to all the places they're playing all the matches now. I've been to most of those places. It's very nice.
Excellent. So now we would have a couple of these possibly, and this is quite a big meaty one here, so I wouldn't suggest that you're necessarily going to be, this is for one person, you've got 2 people.
Could you grill those as well, Aaron?
You can grill them, you can griddle fry them, whichever you find most convenient. But yeah, under the grills it's really easy because it's out of the way then.
Okay.
Okay, so
they're totally covered as well, and that is lovely.
Yeah, absolutely. And if it's in the grill, then you know yourself, at least there's going to be no sort of frying smells going on.
And if it is in the grill, Aaron, how long do you think normally?
I'd say with fillet of pork, you're looking to do no more than, if you turn it over once, you want sort of 3 or 4 minutes on one side.
Because people are quite nervy about pork, you know?
Do you know, and you know, you've heard of rosé pork and rosé veal and stuff. You can actually, it doesn't need to be like we used to do. It doesn't need to be so sort of
because I often overcook it because I'm always kind of nervous that it's pork and you have to, you know. Ooh, very nice, very nice, very nice. Okay, let me taste a teeny bit here. I'll take it at the end. Okay, excellent. Okay, remind us of the marinade again.
The marinade, so we've got the rose water in there to bring that lovely sort of perfume and stringency. We've got a bit of the cumin, the lovely pistachios with the lemon juice and the mint and the tarragon, coriander. Yummy?
It's amazing.
Taste of these.
I love that.
Isn't it lovely?
That is so good.
And maybe a bit more oil as well will bring it together a little bit as well.
No, it's just...